All right, let's do a quick breakdown on the old Dunlop YZ450F. I've been hesitating making this video for a long time. I probably should have made it a long time ago, but probably the number one question I get asked is, what year is your bike? Everybody thinks it's a newer bike that's not familiar with this frame and chassis. And yeah, you'd never believe it, but it's an 06. Looks newer than that. I take really good care of it. I take a lot of pride in taking care of my stuff. That way it lasts a long time. I picked this bike up 3 years ago, completely stock, as I'm dripping fuel out my carburetor. I have never been able to get that to quit dripping fuel, no matter how many times I've fixed it. But bought it 3 years ago for $2,100. Basically a stock bike, had no hours on it. I'm assuming probably about 30 hours or so. And took it down to the frame pretty much. Rebuilt the shock, rebuilt the forks, put all OEM stuff in it. You know, replaced the cam chain, adjusted the valves, which they didn't need adjusted. There was a couple minor adjustments that needed made, but they really were in tolerance. Put new tires on it, put some fork bleeders on it. I did go ahead and spring the suspension for myself. There's no suspension valving done on it, but the suspension is sprung for my weight. Added a couple little cosmetic items, put the America Pro Taper bar pad on it, and then I just recently got the graphics on it from UNA Designs, and they did a killer job, and the bike just looks new. You know, if you weren't familiar with this chassis of bike, you know, in this year, you probably wouldn't know that it's an older bike. I've seen a lot of newer bikes that look really beat up compared to this. So upgrades, as far as upgrades that I've done to it, haven't really done upgrades, let's just say that. It did come with a braking front rotor. So the front rotor works amazing. It stops really well for having the bad brakes that they had back in the day. It does stop really well in the front, which is 99% of your stopping power anyway. Like I said, I did spring it to my weight, so it's got Race Tech springs on it on the rear shock and on the front forks. I put some ODI lock-on grips with some Pro Taper donuts because I love running the grip donuts. And what else have I done? Some Tusk front levers. Not really an upgrade. I did put a higher pressure radiator cap on there to raise the boiling point just a bit. Anything else? I've got Dunlop MX33 tires on it, and I love those tires. I've had some other tires before in the past, some Michelin Starcross 5s, and I love them too. To be honest, I really can't say one's better than the other, but I do love the Dunlops, and I'm impressed with how well they've held up in this hard pack. Also, I have done the O-ring mod to the FCR carb. I have changed the sprockets and chain. I'm on my second set of sprockets and chains, and I think that's about it. Not a whole lot going on with it. And then obviously I did change the seat cover to a Rocky Mountain ATV MC seat cover, and that is a huge difference maker, just having that rib seat cover. So works connection, handlebar clamp right here. That's a breakaway, so that if you crash it, it slips the handlebar up, or the brake lever up. But man, can't really think of nothing else. Did rebuild the carburetor, did just do the regular maintenance. You know, I've done a radiator flush on it. I'm running Maxima Coolanol. That way when winter comes, I don't have to drain the radiator and get all the coolant out of it, worry about it freezing the bike. But I absolutely love this bike. It's got the KYB SSS front forks, so they are the best forks in the industry. Still run them today on the new Yamahas, and that shock in the rear is awesome. You know, for this bike being an 06, it handles like a dream. I'm very used to it. Once you fix the carburetor issues and kind of get it dialed in, it's pretty amazing. It is pretty amazing. So this bike is known for having probably one of the most bulletproof engines ever made for a 4-stroke, especially for its age. I do not have an hour meter on it. I did at one point, and it ended up breaking at about 50 hours. So since then, I pretty much just kind of clocked it in my head based on the times I rode it and the amount of time I rode it, and I would assume I've got over 100 hours on this bike, probably about 110, 120-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. I've adjusted the valves one time, I change the oil every 3 hours of riding, so that's probably every 2 rides, sometimes 3 if I just do a quick ride. And then I run 91 ethanol free through it, and it is tuned perfectly. So goes to show that if you guys want to buy an older bike, you can have an older bike, fix it up really nice, keep it clean, and ultimately, you know, I run with all the guys with the new bikes for a fraction of the cost. With a new bike costing near $11,000 for a 2022, if you're going to get a 450 out the door, you're going to pay about $11,000. Go pick you one up for $2,000. Put about $1,000 into it, and that goes a very, very long ways. So yeah, I can't say much more about it. As far as oil, I run Rotella T4 1540 weight in it. It's a cheap oil. I can change my oil for about $4. And then I just run the regular paper filters from either Tusk or Yamaha or Maxima, and things bulletproof. So still has good compression. I haven't checked the valves lately, but I probably should. But you know, it's kind of one of those things, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just maintain it. And I did add this primary drive chain block down here, because the stock Yamaha chain block is just kind of crappy. Wears out really fast. And then I do clean my oil filter or air filter as needed. Probably due for exhaust packing. Actually, I know it is. It's starting to get a little bit raspy. But man, it still starts first kick every time. Every single time. So couldn't be happier with it. If you come and ask me what bike should I buy, if it's an older bike, I'm going to tell you a Yamaha, hands down, because they are the best bike for the buck, in my opinion. And as far as reliability goes, you could not ask for a better motorcycle. With the suspension, the aluminum frame, it's got the Excel Takasago rims, which are bulletproof. As long as you keep your spokes tight, you're not going to go wrong with it. The only complaint I have about this bike is the braking does suck on it, but that can be fixed a little bit. I could get a stainless steel brake line, make that a little bit better, things like that. But other than that, for its age, it looks good. It looks new. It looks it looks like it fits up there with the new bikes. And man, it barks. This bike, it's loud. It's a powerhouse. It's got more than enough power for a carbureted bike, for a 450. And to be honest, I rode a 2022 CRF 450 the other day, and I would say, to be honest, this bike is a little more snappy than that. But that CRF 450 was very controllable. It was the power delivery was amazing. So if you're going with a carbureted bike, I would recommend getting the 450, the Yamaha, any year from basically 06 to, I think they changed it in 11 or 10. 06 to 2009. That 06 to 09 era is this bike identical. You can't go wrong. It's going to be bulletproof. It's going to serve you for a lot of years. And I'll do a more in-depth review of this bike, but I thought I'd kick this one out to you guys and give you my thoughts, my opinions. And I will say, I am biased to Yamaha now after having this bike. And I've had a Honda, I've had 2-strokes, but this bike has by far been my favorite bike. It does have a hot start on it too, because it's got the FCR carb, which would be that lever up there. And I just love it. I just love it. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions on this bike, hit me up, let me know, and I'll answer them as best I can. But yeah, if you guys have this bike, you've got a gem right now. They're going for a lot more nowadays. I think right now they're probably around about $3,500, where 3 years ago I bought it for about $2,100. Guy didn't really know what he had, honestly, and put a little bit of time into it, a little bit of upgrade, a little bit of maintenance, and you can have basically a brand new bike that's competitive. Not necessarily supercross, motocross competitive, but everything your average rider will ever need. So check them out, see what they're worth. Talk to you guys later.